Hey everybody, it's Bust, and we're getting ready to kick off week 1 of the Tarjeta Draft League. This would be season 2 of the league and our first match of this draft format that's out there. And so, if what we're about to play and this draft thing sounds interesting to you, down in the description of the video there will be a link to the tarjeta.gg website where the magic happens, if you will, in terms of everything to do with the league. And so if you'd like to participate in Season 3 or follow along with Season 2, then by all means go and visit the website. But to get you kind of hyped up and ready for this week, we're going to be playing against Grim. Grim was the Season 1 winner, and so we will be doing battle against arguably the best in the world. And so we'll have to see if we can overcome adversity and be the ones to come out on top here in week 1. And so to give you a little refreshers set on our decks, the first one we have is Bard Freylord. This is the deck I expect everyone throughout the event to ban every time. We pieced together this really sweet number with 3 Bards, 3 Bird the Bellringers, and 3 Esmuth to go along with a bunch of the Freylordian epics, and then a pretty nice curve, a nice set of challengers, and a good set of overwhelms to come out and fill out the game. I feel like as far as limited experiences go, if Bard had made his way into limited, he would have just been completely asinine in terms of just how strong he would be. And so that's what we're going to look to be booming out here with today. Even though he has been nerfed, we drafted Bard before the 3 mana gem nerf hit. Don't care. Still think he would be absolutely obnoxious. And so this is, again, our Freylord deck. Expect it to be banned. Deck number 2. This is our Poppy Rally deck. I wanted to go out of our way to draft Poppy with Demacia if possible, and we managed to pull that off. So we do have this deck that has a lot of really good unit boosting between our 3 copies of Poppy. 1 copy of Garen is kind of like a half booster, if you will. Further package down here with Cythria as another Garen-like boost, and the Yordle Captain to boost our small units. And so we were trying to piece together this kind of like challengers, Yordles kind of thing with the big unit boosting. We're able to do so successfully. Pretty happy with how this deck together. I think this will be our kind of bread and butter deck throughout the event that's able to take down anything. Last but not least, we have our combo deck. This is the deck I was looking to assemble a very aggressive PNZ Noxus number. Have a lot of real early game with the Noxus and 1-drops and 2-drops and Legion Rearguard kind of units, and then burn our opponents out with the various PNZ burn spells. It didn't quite come together, but where we landed on was going for the Shiraza the Blade, Kato the Arm combo. And so we have this really nice late game overwhelm and elusive package. We're hopefully going to be able to OTK our opponents with Kato boosting Shiraza getting the overwhelm and bonus attack, and then dealing double damage to the opposing Nexus. We have a handful of ways to boost her with the likes of things like Elixir of Wrath and Brothers Bond, and then if necessary we can give her elusive with the Sumpworks map. And so if you remember our practice games, it doesn't have to get kills through Shiraza, but this is the real way everyone wants to do it, right? This is the fun way to come out and close out the games. Killing with these big overwhelms like Savage Reckoner and Captain Farron, how we're likely to do it, but everyone wants to see the Shiraza OTK. She's totally dating Kato, and so we got the nice little romance package here. And so, to jump into our opponent's deck list, right, this is the best of 3. We'll have the chance to ban one of their decks out of the format. And to give you kind of a quick peek at what Grim is going to be running with today, we don't know what his exact 40-card lineup is going to be, but we can get a pretty good idea from looking at their 50. And so he has drafted PNZ. He has a fairly aggressive number like we were trying to piece together. He didn't come up with much in the way of 1-drops, right? He only has 1 Forge Chief, 1 Blade Squire, but his 2-drop package is fairly strong. The rest of his curve is fairly strong, and then he does have a little bit of this late game overwhelm with the likes of Tusk Raider and Captain Farron to kind of close out with the classic Noxus style. The thing that's a little bit scary to me coming out of this deck is he has a very good removal package. We weren't able to assemble this. We didn't see very much of this at all, but he does have the Thermogenic Beam, Nox and Tellstones, double Mystic Shot, get excited, Nox and Fervor, Scorched Earth, if you want to go on down, Shock Blast. And so he has this very nice removal package, and I feel like this is one of the stronger decks that we could find ourselves up against. I think, we could risk it playing against this if I felt like they were just going to ban our Shiraza deck. I'd feel very good taking a Bard deck into damage-based removal, and I'd feel very good taking our Poppy deck into damage-based removal since we're able to go wide so easily. But this is the number one deck that's going to be scaring me out of their list. Very likely to be what we're going to ban. Deck number 2, he has assembled this big landmarks kind of number. If you want to see some of the dope combos going on in here, there is the 2 copies of Dragon Roost, 1 copy of Risen Altar, along with Talia and triple Promising Future. And so lots of promise happening with the landmarks here, and a really nice collection of combos going on with this. But if you remember drafting landmark-based decks in Expedition, it was very tough to get a cohesive deck, and I feel like the unit package out of this is extremely lacking. The early game units aren't that great. He's done a great job of managing his curve and picking up what looks to be like 5 or 6 1-drops and a handful of 2-drops, but these units are all understated and weak. And so I feel like all of our decks will handle this unit package well, and then even our Shiraza combo will have to run into the likes of a copy of Hush, but I think it's very well set up to deal with this landmarks deck, and it's the one that I think will be able to beat up on the most. We will just have to remember as we go into battle with this, it does have the copy of Hush and then 2 copies of Rite of Negation, so it has a very nice quicksand as well. So a very nice removal package that can come out and strip our overwhelms or counterspell some of our big plays. There is some power here, but I feel like this is just going to be a super high rolly deck, and the one that I do want to come out and play against. Last but not least, he has a Fiora-based Demacia number here. He has also chosen to go with Freylord, and I kind of felt like in my theory crafting that just banning Freylord is going to be a very popular strategy, right? I was hoping to split apart our Freylord from Bard, so our opponent would be really stuck with a challenging decision, right? Do I ban Freylord? Do I ban Bard? And then, of course, I'm just going to get slammed by this Poppy. And we didn't quite get to do that. And I felt like I was just going to look at his Freylord list and be like, yep, I'm going to boom that. That's no chance he's getting to play this thing that comes out here with War Mother's Call, Feel the Rush, and then down here, She Who Wanders, Bright Steel Formation, Wrath of the Freylord, Tiana, King Jarvan. This has all of the big epics in it. And it really worries me if it can get to that point. But once I came out here and started looking at this deck list, I feel like this is the one that we want to come in and do battle with. It looks like the early game package in this just isn't very good. Having things like Unscarred Reaver and Plucky Poro be your early game plays aren't that something I'm really worried about. Having an early game also based on Stony Suppressor, not that worried about it. Has a fairly decent ramp package between 1 copy of Faces of the Old Ones, 3 copies of Weirding Stones, and then it did hit the Catalyst of the Aeons as well. So it does have a nice ramp aspect to go to it. But I feel like this is the kind of thing that we should be able to come in and attack around. I feel like if we have to play this deck twice, in one of those games, we should be able to either roll high enough into it to where our cards just win before their weak cards or their strong cards are able to come online, or they just draw a weird hand and it just doesn't work, right? You mulligan and you have this hand that has a Swiftwing Lancer, a Jarvan, a Bright Steel Formation, and a ramp card, and you're just never in the game. And so I feel like when it comes up to these battles, I'm going to ban out the more consistent removal-based deck. I feel a little bit safer going up against the Freylord deck than this. I do concede that the Freylord deck is powerful, and it is the one that is most likely to just come out here and annihilate us, but I feel like the most consistency we're going to see out of our opponent is out of the P and Z deck, and this is the one that I'm looking to remove. And so, those are the decks. The battles are about to get here. Let's move on over to the game and get the battles on. Okay, so you all know what we have to do. We can't just jump into battle with our units being all naked. We do have to go and pay the pay-to-win price. And I feel like there should be something in here fairly reasonable. I don't know. We played a lot of a lot of Expedition, and we really premiumed out all these cards that never see any constructed play. I kind of miss it. It's kind of nice to see some of the highlights of Expedition, the dregs of Constructed out here being into Premium. And so as I scroll through that deck, no commons, no rares are left in the lands of no premiumness. I feel like we might go the whole way here. I mean, this is not everyone's favorite thing to see, but it gives you a nice opportunity to look through our final deck list one last time as we look for, Heroic Refrain. We found one, fam. Oh, it's going to be good. Royal Decree as well. Royal Decree is an interesting one in that it does generate a unit. And so we could be using it to generate an Honored Lord, which would then be premium. That's a pretty good choice. We'll have to think of that as we look through the rest of our deck here to see if we have any other premium targets. That's not it. I'm leaning towards. I wasn't excited about premiuming up the Freylord deck anyways, since we're probably not going to get to play it. But let's come out here. Oh, do you all know what we should do? I know what we should do. Where's what's her name? Shiraza. That's what this is going to be all about. I don't think I have we do have enough coins right now. Perfect. This is what we need. This is what's going to set the tone for the entirety of our season, and I'm feeling really good about this decision right now. So, look out, opponents. The pay-to-win price has been paid. Shiraza catches the premium treatment. Kato already had it. He was a pretty big monster on his own. And we are ready for battle. Look at that. There's Shiraza. She's got pretty much double premium right now, right? She's premium on her card. Here she is in Let's Punch Some Stuff mode. Pulled up like that. Oh, that's just Kato fucking throwing her. That's the way they like to party, right? Kato just throwing his wife, throwing his girlfriend, however she's related to him in term of loverness. And then here's the victory pose. Getting the Shiraza. Here it is. Shiraza is a great girlfriend. Oh, hang on. I mean, no. And in no way dating, but if we were, I would like her to know that I wish her a happy anniversary. So, kind of dating, kind of not. It's okay. It's okay to have an emotion, Kato. You can let the world know about your lady friend. No one will think less of you. Your muscles, very large, very in charge. But nonetheless, let's get that stuff out of the way, get ourselves on out here into battle. All right, and we are getting ourselves underway. Got to pick all these sweet ass draft decks out here. I hope it did it did it correctly. Get to it. Had to wait on the cat to jump in here. It wouldn't have been the same without the cats jumping in and bothering us. And as we talked about, we are going to come in and just ban the Katarina Timo Victor. This is the PNZ list. I guess we do get to take a peek at what else they're bringing. See what's running in these real quick. It's not anything too surprising. The Freylord deck with the ramp, decent early game. What removal package are they playing? A bunch of avalanches and blighted ravines, sure. The standard ramp, and then the big piece of the curve, all the expensive shits in here. The War Mother's Call, Feel the Rush, She Who Wanders. Everything expensive is hanging out in this one. So okay, that's fine. Pretty much what we expected out of there. And then with the landmarks deck, I feel like that should probably be the same. Has this actually more early game than I thought with the 3 copies of Ancient Preparations, but lots of early game stuff happening here. The 2 Dragon's Roosts, sure. 2 Rite of Negations made the cut. The 2 Promising Futures and the 1 Risen Altar. So, okay, this is a little bit scarier than I was giving it credit for. I didn't feel like it. It had very much early game when I was just thinking of the chip, the Doomkeeper, and then the 2 Dustbringers, but the addition of the Ancient Prep gives us a pretty big early game as well. Hopefully we're able to hold ourselves off before that pops off too hard. But I think I'm still okay with this. Banning, I feel like this PNZ deck is probably the most consistent of the 2, and then we're going to continue on with this. We'll play our PNZ deck. If we have to play it twice, then so be it. The ban came on our Bard Freylord deck. Not surprised whatsoever. Let's get to it. We're just going to get those big Timo draws in here. Make them squeeze them butt cheeks right from the start, am I right? All right, he's here. Teemo's ready to party. So that's good. That's a good place. I'm not amped about starting with Daring Poros, but it'll fill in our curve nicely. At least get to start off with these big Teemo booms. No way we can fit our whole deck on the screen. We'll try, but it's not going to make it. All right, bring it upon me. Bring that damage in. It's not horrible. He shouldn't be able to interact with our Teemo very well. We'll continue on with our curve in the Legion Grenadier. And oh man, all our good cards are coming to party. It doesn't matter how bad your deck is if you only draw your good cards. Remember that strategy. Sure. All right, good stuff. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get the big Shiraza combos going. I have such high hopes to to hit with her. Just doesn't look like it's going to be the case. He did spike the landmark on the Psy Scout here. It's a little worrisome. That would be enough to stop our Teemo from attacking. We do have this Elixir of Iron to potentially use to shut down the Psy Scout, but that's kind of a crappy trade to have to make. Annie's not exactly what we're trying to do here. I don't really want to give him... It's like tough, right? I don't really want to give him an opportunity to add more cards to the board, but we really need to get more aggression going than what we currently have. I think we're going to have to add units here. So let's add the Daring Poro. We'll add the Annie. We'll plan on Elixir of Wrathing through this Psy Scout. We'll see what happens and what they add, but shouldn't be too much that shuts us down. Our Annie is now stopped. Okay. Can't remember if he had something like Hush in his deck. Shapestones in here. Okay. I think I would rather just play the Elixir of Wrath at this point and let Teemo fall. He's not doing too much at this point. I don't really want to give up too much of our hand. Like, I would feel a lot better if we just had a Kato, right? If we had Kato and we could punch through with something in our hand, it would be nice, but I feel like we're going to get overly invested in this combat and then not have enough to close out the game. Whoops. That's a bit of a whoopsies. That's how you get around a Hush. Well, some people could say that may affect the outcome of the game. Oh boy. All right, Preservarium in. We have an ample opportunity to get our good cards on board now. This is a fairly tempting block. We're never going to get a good combat with this, but now the Psy Scout can't block our Annie. Or I guess it can block, it just can't block her favorably. Ooh, and a Brother's Bond. Excellent. I think we might have done it, fam. I think we might have got this one. Not the turn to be playing Dragon's Roost. Not the turn for that. Curious, I think we would have still been in like a pretty good spot had we had the Hush landed appropriately. We would have had to have discarded something to the Spinning Axe, but even if we say discarded Shiraza and then had an Eager Apprentice on the board right now, it would leave us in a pretty decent place. All right, not quite lethal without the immediate Brother's Bond, but I was going to say, I feel like he's going to have to interact here, and this does give us an opportunity to shoot through for a shitload of damage off his Shiraza, right? This is one of these spots where you might have to consider just a no block because Shiraza is so intimidating to where, like, if you're going to come in and block Draven, he has to just move her over, right? Even with, like, a Hush. Oof. It's like this is just the massive source of damage. And I guess there is a world where we could technically come out and flip Draven. I don't think we're gonna do that kind of thing, but he's an option. I'm curious, like why he would lead in to acting like he wants to block with Draven. It seems like he might have a combat trick of some sort, but I'm not worried about another Hush. If he wants to prevent 6 from the battering ram, I think it's okay. I just don't want to get the stacks onto Annie. She's going to be our worst unit from now on, and she's going to be dealing the least damage. Quicksand, sure. Quicksand doesn't take away the Shiraza thing. It's not a keyword. So she's still going to deal double damage even if she's been quicksanded, I think. To the best of my knowledges. Saw the shock blast. It's like, oh, we lethal? We should just be close enough, right? Just right from the start, it should be good enough. Alright, ideally we'll just take down 2 units here. Oh, just the flight. Needs to draw a card, I guess. Thought we'd be shock blasting something. Uh-oh. So we'll be getting a rock bear. Not gonna stop me from opening. Surprised. Didn't just go ahead and pick up the Risen Altar, bro. I guess he's not very defensive. Well, he has 6 health. One could say that that's fairly defensive. Alright, I figure this one's probably over. Let's at least do it right. And get a little to big attack in here. Grumpy Rock Bear makes some interesting noises. He sounds very angry. Alright, Star Shaping's not enough to get out of this. There's no burst or fast cards you can get off of a Star Shaping. 18 into 10. GG. Drop a little cupcake. Oof. Okay, so that's kind of how I was hoping this would go, is as we could pick on the Landmarks deck. Again, it's much better than I thought it was going to be, but he did run into some of the classic problems that you'll see out of a Landmark deck, in that their cards, can't dig you out of the late game. It sucks if you just need to play something on turn 7 and you have to play a Rock Bear that doesn't do anything. And you saw a little bit of that, and then he didn't have too much early game show up, and so I was hoping we could come down and get a punish in there. All right. Not a bad little curve here. It's just like we're playing Constructed, isn't it? Just like Constructed. I miss Stony Suppressor. As we're coming up on seasonals, I was a pretty big fan of. This is a safe block, actually. You can't cast any spells. I was a big fan of the Stony Suppressors in the world of Tri-Beam Ezreals and everything, but I can't bring myself to play with the Suppressors in this upcoming seasonals here a day or two from now. But I have a great fondness for old Stony Suppressor.
One for you, one for you.
All right. Looks like he stumbled. It was always pretty savage in Expedition if you didn't have a turn 3 play. Looks like we're just kind of steamrolling through this one. Definitely not good if you don't have a play here. I feel like we should drop an emote, but I don't, I don't know. Feels like
I can't wait to see what this one's
struggling a little bit. All right, Garen's not going to be enough. All right, move the squad in, and that'll do it. GG. And so yeah, not a bad set of games. Our curve came through most certainly. That game that we just saw in the last one, that was what we would kind of call like a mulligan to 4 in Magic, is to where an expedition you had to really craft everything to where you didn't run that turn 3 where you just had nothing to do. And we could see how painful it was there. We just spent all of our mana every turn of the game, and they just got way banked up throughout the rest of the way. And so that was it. We took it down. We got the week 1 victory. There was a GG. Good games, Grim. We'll see who's up for battle next week.